Guten Morgen, everyone. Welcome to Rügen. Rügen is Germany's largest island. I'll talk a bit more about that later, but right now I should probably get moving because I want to find a good place to walk. So I'm in Sassnitz, that's the name of the city, and I've just arrived here on a train. So that building there at the end of the street is the train station for Sassnitz, where I've just come from. And I just walked directly down the street, and it's called Bahnhof Street, which means train station street, and ended up here at the Sachsenblick, which is, here's a nice description. The English description is partly covered by a bush branch, but hopefully that's not too much of an impediment. So, I mean, this is a pretty cool lookout point. You can see, well, water and boat and some other things, but this is also a good place to walk because you can't go further from here. I mean, these are people's houses next to me at the end here. So yeah, the road just ends abruptly here at this kind of drop. There is a bridge over there by the water, and you can walk across that bridge, but that also doesn't get you very far, because so there are a couple of different approaches to take here. To the north, which is in that direction, is a national park. So if you want to walk among greenery and trees and stuff like that, you can go there. Also, the city center for Sassnitz is in that direction. About a kilometer north of here is the city center, and there's, shopping and the usual stuff that you find in the city center. If you want, you can also kind of go out of your way to get onto that bridge there, walk down that bridge, and then kind of follow it down there. That will also take you down to the water, but farther down there, I think it kind of dead ends somewhere, which I don't want, because I want to actually walk along the water. I want to walk along the eastern coast of the island. So I'm on the east side of Rügen, which is the touristy side. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to back up a bit, go back up the street, and try to find a way to go that direction south and kind of start walking along the water. So I will talk to you folks more when I'm at a good point to go for a walk. Okay, so in hindsight, I probably got off at the wrong train station. So I got off at the train station that's actually called Sassnitz. What I probably should have done is get off at the train station called, I think it's called Lanken. So down the road that way is train station Lanken. What I've done is I've walked along the highway. It's actually, I guess it's highway number 96. So you can actually see there's a sign there. So I've walked here from Sassnitz main station along Highway 96, which is a bit of a harrowing walk at times because it's not really meant for pedestrians. On this side, I guess the west side it's mostly a residential area with, nice kind of well-to-do houses like this. And then on the far side is more like a nature area. It's more like trees like you see there. So if you want to take the walk that I'm attempting today, if you want to save yourself a little bit of time, because I've already been walking for almost an hour, maybe a better thing to do is get off at train station Lanken, come down this way, so where you see the Lidl on the right, and then just walk through this intersection. So I'm going to turn, for me this is a left turn from where I've been going, but from where I'm viewing now, I'm just going to go straight through the intersection, and this will take me to Binz and Prora, which are still 14 kilometers away, so I've still got quite a walk ahead of me. So I'm going to go through this intersection here and see where this takes me. Okay, alright, so crossing the street has taken me to this path here. So this is a foot and bicycle path by the street on the way to a couple of coastal towns. I mean, right now, obviously, I'm a bit far away from the coast, but in about 3 kilometers or so, I should hit a harbor. Maybe there would be something nice to see there. But yeah, I have a good 14 kilometers to go to get to the really touristy part of Rügen. I'm tempted to just take a train. I think I could probably go back to Lanken station and take a train from there to the more touristy part, but let's see what we have here. I mean, it's still technically morning. It's almost noon, but I mean I kind of have all day. I'm here on a weekend. I'm making a Tagesausflug, which means a day trip, and I can afford to walk for an hour or two. So yeah, so let's talk a bit about islands. So I am on Rügen. which is, as I said, Germany's largest island. And one thing that should probably be kept in mind as you consider that fact is Germans don't necessarily do islands that well. Germany isn't necessarily great for islands. Germans are good at many things. Germans are good at building cars. Germans are good at building cuckoo clocks, or at least they used to be. I don't know if they still are now. Germans are good at philosophy and dramatic classical music. Germans are good at annexing other countries. And in terms of the geography, the landscape, Germany is great for mountains, mostly in the south. Although actually not only in the south, also inland there's some smaller mountains as well. But Germany's not necessarily that great for islands. It has islands, and indeed several of them. But the islands are not necessarily that impressive compared to what you'd see in some other places. I'm very happy to see that the Ampelmann is to be seen on the crossing signals here. One thing that a lot of people probably don't consider when they think about places like this is that this area was also the DDR, or GDR in English, I guess, the German Democratic Republic, East Germany, the communist East Germany. When people think of East Germany, they usually think of East Berlin, which obviously was in East Germany. But this here was also East Germany. And, you know, when you see the situation here, it's so hard to connect the idea of this place with, you know, the Stasi-Land characterization that people always make of the GDR. Because, yeah, it might have been that way in East Berlin. It might have been that way in some larger cities of East Germany, like, I don't know, maybe Leipzig, for example. But I really have a hard time imagining that people's lives here during the time of the Berlin Wall, you know, during the time when this was officially communist East Germany, I really have a hard time imagining that people's lives here were anything like how they're depicted in, you know, movies like I mean, basically any movie ever made about East Germany. The most popular and famous ones for North American audiences probably being either Goodbye Lenin, which was a comedy about the GDR, or one of my personal favorite movies that I've ever seen, The Lives of Others, or Das Leben der Anderen as it's titled in German, which is a much more negative portrayal of East Germany. But I mean, both of those movies, again, are situated in Berlin. And, you know, Berlin is, well, it is what it is. I mean, people have different opinions about it. Some people like Berlin, some people hate it, but Berlin's just one city. And even though it's a big city, I mean, it's Germany's largest city, it still is fairly small compared to what the GDR was. And there was a heck of a lot to the GDR besides Berlin. But we never really hear about that. You never really hear about life in, I don't know, life in Dresden, or life in Magdeburg, or life in Erfurt, or life here in Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. You never really hear about life in these places during the time of the wall. What was it like here, far away from Berlin? I'd really like to know. I have spoken to some people who lived here in that time, and they said in their opinion it wasn't really that different. You know, away from the cities, here on a farm, I mean, these people are growing, I guess, corn, looks like. You know, if this is your life now, and if this was your life then things probably didn't change for you that much. Your life in the GDR probably wasn't that different from your current life in the Bundesrepublik Deutschland, in the present-day Federal Republic of Germany. But it's all a matter of perspectives. Because, you know, in Russia, too, in present-day Russia, some people say our lives here today are not that much different from how they were in the Soviet Union. Other people say our lives are dramatically different now. There's a huge difference between today's Russia and the Soviet Union. So it's all a matter of perspectives and how people lived and how they live now. And some people's lives changed really dramatically, and some people's lives didn't change much at all. And in terms of popular stereotypes about the political situation here today, there is a popular stereotype about the former East German areas, like here, that the politics here are extremely right-wing, that there are a lot of neo-Nazis and things like that here, which I can't really personally attest to because I don't have any experience with that myself. It's just difficult for me to believe because I see a lot of groups here, like, you know, the Greens, you know, the Green Alliance, which is a far left party, and another party which is popular here in the East is Die Linke, which literally just means the left. Obviously also a very left party. But I don't see a lot of presence of for example, the AfD, which is a party that's often considered far right here. In fact, if anything, I see the same, excuse my language, I see the same fuck the AfD stickers here that you see in other places in Germany. So, I don't know, it's hard for me to imagine that that these so-called far-right politics are really that powerful here. It doesn't seem that way to me, but what do I know? I mean, I don't live here. I don't know the actual situation. I mean, you know, you see a few political stickers pasted here and there. You see offices. I mean, I passed by in Stralsund, which is the city that basically it's geographically the gateway to Rügen. In Stralsund, I saw local offices of the Greens, but who knows? Maybe that's just on the surface. Maybe it's different underneath the surface. I really don't know. Anyway, I'm rambling a bit. But what I wanted to say is, here on Rügen, this is Germany's largest island, but don't expect too much from it. People who have been here have told me, yeah, Rügen is okay, like it's not bad, but it's nothing special. It's not really worth the trip up there. It is quite a trip up here. I got up really early to come here, and it's already about noon, like I said. Well, I did stop in Stralsund for an hour or two, so that, you know, without that stop I would have gotten here earlier, but still, it does take a while to get here. Is it worth the trip? I don't know, we'll see. But just to temper your expectations, when I say it's Germany's largest island, don't expect fireworks, don't expect anything super special, awesome, crazy, wonderful, incredible, like, don't expect a huge wow factor. But when I finish this incredibly long walk that I'm on, 14 kilometers, you can probably expect to see some at least some water. If nothing else, at least you can expect to see water. Just pausing to see what this sticker is. Something about Halle an der Saale, which is another city in Sachsen-Anhalt, which is also part of the former East Germany. Yeah, there's a very strong sort of Aussie identity. The people who live here in the former East German territories seem to still have a very strong Eastern identity, even though many of them are too young to have been born in the GDR. Like, many of them were born after the Berlin Wall already came down and communism was officially over. And, you know, it's officially just one united Germany now. And I don't really even know what it's supposed to mean to be an Aussie today, because if you were born after the end of that period, what does it really mean? Like, what is materially different about this part of Germany as opposed to what was then West Germany? I don't know. I really don't know. Again, people say that right-wing politics are stronger here, but it really doesn't seem that way to me. At least it's certainly not visible. In fact, if anything, it seems exactly the opposite. But what do I know? Again, maybe I'm just completely ignorant. I'm going to go ahead and stop talking now. My point here is, don't expect anything too wild, but do expect at least to see some water. If I survive the walk, I'll film some footage of being by the sea, and we can say that we saw Germany's largest island on a pleasant sunny day. I'm actually quite pleased by the weather. I was worried that it would be either really raining or that the temperature would be uncomfortable, but I think it's about 25 degrees Celsius here, which is, what is that in Fahrenheit? Let's say roughly 75 Fahrenheit. Just guesstimating, something like that, which is, you know, pretty comfortable, quite pleasant t-shirt. I mean, I'm wearing a t-shirt, so it's quite pleasant t-shirt weather. It's quite windy too, like there's a pleasant breeze from the sea, but it's not extremely windy, so it's a pretty nice day to be here. And I think these are nice settings. I mean, this is not, we're not at the sea, but this is really typical of Rügen. I mean, Rügen is mostly just farmers' fields and forests. So here I'm in a forest kind of setting, and interspersed we have farmers' fields. Like, I don't know if you can see across the street, there's a planted farmer's field with Nutzpflanzen, crops. And I think on the other side of this small hill there are also, yeah, more crop fields. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and shut up now and keep walking for a while, and I'll start the camera up again when I see something interesting, hopefully. There's actually a golf course here, a Golfplatz, if the sign is to be believed, which it probably is, because I don't think there would be any reason to lie about that being here. Can't really tell from here. I mean, it's just farmers' fields, but I guess if you turn down that road and drive far enough, you see a golf course. I think I've definitely made the wrong decision to try to walk this route. I have not seen a single pedestrian, a single other pedestrian other than myself. Everybody here is bicycling this route. I mean, who wants to walk 14 kilometers on a path like this? Probably not many people. So I'm probably pretty crazy to do this. I mean, 14 kilometers it's walkable, it's doable. It's just, it's more than most people would want to walk. And it's going to take hours. What can I do? I don't have a bicycle. I don't own a bicycle, and I could have rented one, but I actually don't know where I would rent one. There are probably places around here that you can rent bicycles, but I don't know of one, so I just decided to leg it, and that was probably a mistake, but I'm kind of, I don't think I'm at the halfway point yet, so technically the halfway point is the point at which it makes more sense to just keep going than to turn back. And I'm pretty sure I'm not nowhere near the halfway point yet, so I could just turn back and say the heck with it, but in for a penny, in for a pound. It's still the middle of the day. I still have time. Okay, so here's the situation. I'm close to the harbor now, so you can kind of see those cranes back there. I think those cranes are the Sassnitz harbor. I think I'm just about at the halfway point between two train stations here. So you can see to the right is the Zasnitz train station, which is where I've walked from, which is 5.9, so almost 6 kilometers away. And if I keep going this way, the Prora train station is just over 6 kilometers away. So I'm just about halfway to the Prora train station. So I guess what I'm probably going to do is just walk to the Prora train station, and then if things don't look good there, then I might just take a train there somewhere else and see how the situation is. I've been walking now for about an hour and a half. I'm trying not to walk too fast because I don't want to, wind myself or lose my energy. I need to maintain stamina. But I've realized that I've been stupid enough to not bring anything to drink. And on a warm day like today, when you're, outside walking, that's like abominably stupid. So, first of all, you probably shouldn't attempt what I'm doing in the first place, trying to walk this stretch. And if you do, make sure that you bring something to drink. Because I thought it was going to be cooler today, but no, it's actually quite sunny and warm. And I'm not sweating profusely, but I definitely should be drinking something on this route. Hopefully at the train station, there's going to be something to drink. I have six kilometers still to walk, so we'll see what I find there. So anyway, this is the harbor, Mokranport. I guess there are ships here going to Sweden and Denmark. But yeah, this is the port of Sassnitz, or the ferry terminal or whatever. I was expecting a little bit more impressive, but oh well. That's okay, it happens. This is actually a really bad place to walk because they actually just changed the side of the street. I actually had to run across this highway, a highway like this. There was not even a pedestrian crossing, just abruptly the walkway on that side just ended, and I had to run across. Pretty sure this is only meant for bicycles and not pedestrians, but oh well, what can I say? Oh yeah, apparently there was a sign back there, apparently 2 kilometers in that direction if I turned right at that intersection where I just was. Apparently there are helicopter flights there, but I'm pretty sure it's just tourist flights, like it's just a round flight. I don't think I could take a helicopter to the cities that I don't think it's for transport, like you can't take a helicopter to the cities that I'm walking to. I think it's more just a touristic round flight of the area, which probably looks pretty cool, but that's not on my agenda today. So, wow, this ferry terminal has, I guess, 3 different terminals. Looks like there's a terminal A, B, and C. Terminal C is for exports, I guess that's for freight, and then B is, I don't know what, something else, and then A is probably for passengers who want to go to Sweden and Denmark then, okay. Just kind of a view over the rail yards of the harbor here, because obviously a lot of goods would be loaded onto trains and then transported inland by trains, or vice versa. Goods would be taken by train onto the ships and loaded onto the ships from there. There also appears to be some passenger trains there. I don't know if there's that's a passenger train, but I don't know if there's a passenger train station there. That might just be a place where they just park the trains when they're not using them. I don't think that's an actual passenger train terminal where you can board a train somewhere else. So I just have to keep walking for now. Boy, it just keeps getting worse. So there's no more path anymore. There's no more paved path. There's just this kind of worn-in bike trail. Bicyclists on that side of the road don't even have a trail. They're forced to bike in traffic. And on this side, there's just there's no paved walkway or bikeway. You just have to walk on this strip that the bikes are using. This is actually not even a good place for bicycles. Okay, that place almost certainly sells Yeah, that place will sell snacks and drinks, but it might be closed today because today's Sunday. I will check it out. Nope, it's closed. I don't even see any opening hours anywhere on the building, but it's closed. There's nobody inside, so that's that. Okay, thank goodness. So just a little bit further down the road, just around the corner from where I was, there's this place called Peter's. It's mostly a bakery, and they have a pretty good variety of baked goods on sale. But they do also, of course, have stuff to drink. The prices are a little bit obscene, partly because of the location, because they're pretty much the only place for literally miles around that sells anything like that. And also because places like this tend to mark up their drinks quite a lot. They make money on the drinks rather than on the food. That tends to be the way a lot of these places operate. So, yeah, I just bought water, and a half-liter bottle of water is €3. €3 for a half-liter bottle of water. That is kind of obscene, but again, considering the situation, doesn't seem like there's a lot of choice, and it's my fault. I consider that my punishment for being stupid enough to come all the way out here without bringing even water to drink. So, yeah, it's at least I won't die of thirst now. And also just beyond that, you have this nice row of quaint guest houses, little small, like mini hotels, which probably would also sell food and drinks, but their prices probably wouldn't be any better. They're more like places to sleep than places to buy food and drinks on the go. And just beyond that, you have what I guess is some kind of little mini beach for people to go into the water. So there are obviously a bunch of people parking here and going swimming in the water and stuff like that. So yeah, it doesn't look like a particularly well-formed beach, but it's a place. It's a place that you can get out and go into the water if you want. I mean, yeah, it's possible to do. Still 4.9 kilometers to Prora, but we're getting there. Okay, and a little bit farther on, there's a sign here advertising Strandimbiss beach snacks, different types of snacks and drinks that they sell here on the beach. And I guess, yeah, there's a beach down there. I'm not going to... I did actually go to the beach there and walk around a bit. I'm not going to film there because there were a few people there stark naked. I guess it's allowed here. Most people were not, but there were a couple of people, so to respect their privacy and to avoid this video possibly getting flagged on YouTube or whatever, I will go ahead and refrain from filming that. I'm a little surprised that there are no signs indicating something like that. It was just a little bit of a shock. I mean, obviously I've seen naked people in my life before. It's like, I mean, that's not a shock, but if you go to a nude beach, usually there's some kind of indication that it's that kind of a beach, and not just you walk in there and, oh, hey, there are people like totally naked here. But yeah, I mean, Germans tend to be less uptight about that kind of thing. I mean, Germany has what they famously call FKK, Freikörperkultur, free body culture. Nudism is actually a big thing in Germany. I guess, actually, now that I think about it, it just occurs to me, that was especially a big thing in the GDR, in the former East Germany. So maybe it's more common here. Don't know. So this is pretty nice. I'm a little bit away from the street now. So the street is off in that direction, and I've just come from, well, the path that goes straight there goes to a parking lot, but I've just come from the right, that path that goes off to the right there, and then walk down here. I guess this way continues on towards the more touristy area. That continues south, I believe. But I'm going to just stop in here for a second and see, 'cause there's a little path here. I don't know what this building is. It looks abandoned. I mean, the windows are smashed, and yeah, it looks like there's nothing inside. At one point in time, it was probably something, but now it's... Don't mess up our future. We are all spots on the same cow. Whoa, that's deep, man. Or at least it probably seemed deep when you're on whatever drugs the person who wrote it was probably on. I don't mean to denigrate the message. I mean, the message is nice. You know, yeah, we're all in this together. We're all on the same planet. Let's all look out for each other. The message is well taken and obviously relevant. So let's see. Oh, this is nice. This is a little... oh, is this the same beach? I'm just a little bit hesitant about going here because I don't want to film like naked people. Again, partly for their own sake and partly for YouTube's sake. But yeah, there are people. Yeah, there are people down there on the beach. I see only clothed people, but if I go down there, I might see more nude people. So I'll respect their privacy and not start waving a camera around there. But yeah, it's another nice little pathway to probably to the same beach. I wonder what they're hiding here. So this sign says entry is strictly forbidden. This property is being watched by infrared cameras. Then it says there are free roaming guard dogs. So I don't know, I mean, is this just a nature preserve or is it some kind of... Is it private property, or is it like a military research facility? Who knows? Anyway, the landscape has looked like this for quite a while now. So on the left, you know, beach, or close to the beach, and then on the right, nature area. This is, I believe, according to my map, this is called the Schmalheide, which means the narrow heath. It's actually, well... From the perspective of somebody standing here, you don't perceive it as being narrow, but on a map it's a relatively narrow strip of land between two bodies of water. So on my left is the sea, you know, the ocean, and then on the right there's, I guess, a lake, like an enclosed body of water. And here I am, stuck in the middle with you, or with this walkway. At least it's fairly easy going. I mean, the path is flat, easy enough to walk on. Just a matter of, it's interesting, there's this pathway here which goes to the beach which is not fenced off, so I guess you just can't go into this treed area, but the beach is still freely accessible from here if you walk on that path between the fences there. Yeah, I mean, this is not tough going, it's not hard hiking, it's just a long way, but it's definitely doable. My legs might be sore later, but it's not too bad. I don't like the sun. It's a little warmer today than I'd like. When the sun shines on me, it gets a little bit warm, but right now it's gone behind a cloud, which is nice. Here in the shade of a cloud, it's not bad. I think we're almost at our first major tourist stop. So I still have no idea what's behind this fence, but you can kind of glimpse through the fence. You can see there's an old building there, which looks like it's completely abandoned. I mean, I don't see anything here. It looks like, I mean, it's obviously a multi-level building, which looks like it's been completely stripped, like the walls are torn down and there's nothing inside. It really looks like a building from the Stalker games. You know, it looks like one of those old abandoned Eastern European buildings, ex-communist buildings that is no longer in use but is still being inhabited by nefarious people doing nefarious things. And yeah, it looks like we are getting somewhere. We are coming up to a sign which appears to announce... What is it announcing? Welcome to the property of the youth camping place Prora. So I mentioned the first kind of touristy city, I guess, on this route is called Prora, and this is apparently a youth camping ground for it, or part of it. So, okay, let's see. this sign says "Caution, Wasps," and it's right in front of this. Is this a... Are they cultivating wasps here? Is this some kind of wasp house? I don't see wasps flying around it, but I can't imagine what that structure is, and the fact that there's that sign right in front of it suggests it's some kind of wasp house. No idea. And there appear to be people actually camping here. This is not about wasps, but bees. It says, wild bees are small animals with a big effect. I'm not going to read all of this out loud, but people who are curious can discover possibly useful facts about bees from this. Another huge abandoned building behind a fence. I don't know what's up with these buildings. They obviously must have been important in some way at some point, but now they're just gutted and they look like they've been burned out. Over there appears to be a basketball court, and over there are some public toilets, but you need a key to get in. Most public toilets in Germany you need to pay to get in, but these ones don't appear to have any payment slots for coins or anything. You just need some kind of ID card or something to get inside there. And there's a soccer court here as well, or football as it's called in Europe. Yeah, I'm really curious what this building is. I mean, it's pretty clearly abandoned and empty inside, but I thought this sign might say something about the building, but no, this says this is about Fledermäuse, about bats. It says they are not vampires. That's good to know. There are 24 species of bat that live in Germany. 12 of them live on Rügen, and in Pola, 7. Looks like there's some kind of a line of buildings up there. Let's check it out. So I wonder if this is that ex-Nazi facility. So in the time of the Nazis, there's some famous facility here around here, which was some kind of a resort for people during the Third Reich. And I read about it that it's since been converted into a youth hostel, or partially converted into a youth hostel. And this appears to be a youth hostel here. So there you can see the cafeteria of it. And on this side here, this also appears to be like a cafeteria hall where people eat. Obviously, a vending machine here. Camping place here with a bunch of tents. I just passed like a bicycle park, a place where kind of like a skate park except for bicycles instead of skateboarding. Yeah, so this is the Jugendherberge. So yeah, pretty cool place. This is probably the first really touristy thing that I've seen. Well, okay, where I started in what was the name of the? I actually forget the name of the city now. Zas something, Sasquatch. No, not Sasquatch. It was something else. Zas something. I guess that was kind of touristy because you know there's that bridge there and like some nice views of the water. So this is probably the second touristy thing. Yeah, there we go. Jugendherberge Proha. I think this might be, yeah, that ex-Nazi facility which they used to use for Nazi getaways. But yeah, it's obviously been somewhat refurbished and reappropriated for other things now. I think I'm actually getting close to the end of my trip then, because this is Prora, and after Prora, the next town after that was what was it called? Hold on, let me pull out my my map and consult it. Boy, it's already 1:40 in the afternoon. I've been walking for almost 3 hours. Let's see. Binz. Right, so after Prora, the next town is Binz, which shouldn't be too far away. If I keep walking like this, I should be able to see Binz in another couple of kilometers or so. Nice table tennis table, but there are no paddles and no ball to play with. I guess you have to supply your own ball and paddles. But oh well. Otherwise, okay. So what I've just passed was the youth hall, and this here appears to be more abandoned buildings. Just looking at these buildings, the lower windows are mostly boarded up, and the upper ones are clearly, yeah, places that are not inhabited. They're not, or if they are inhabited, they're inhabited by squatters. It says Prora Zentrum, the Prora Center, but this is clearly not any kind of center of anything. It's an abandoned building, and the rest of the buildings down on this block are abandoned as well. But okay, I guess it was a center of something in the past. So here's again a beach where you can see some water, and there are some boats in the distance on the water. Here's a sign saying not to step on the sand because there's a species of moth which I guess breeds there. And yeah, here's another section of those abandoned buildings. A lot of them are marked with signs like this saying fatal danger, falling apart, construction, stay away from the building, and parents are liable for their children. You can see obviously there's some graffiti that's been painted on various levels of this building here, so obviously people are going into the building, probably youths going in illegally to squat there and hang out and paint graffiti as they do. But what's kind of funny is just on the other side of this divide is a continuation of what was probably the same complex of buildings at one time, but is now obviously people's private residences. So you have here a youth hostel, you have what look like fairly upscale, quite swanky looking private residences, and then the two are separated by a row of totally decrepit, abandoned structures which are condemned because they're not safe to enter. Alright, so this is a nice little detour, but I guess I should go back out and continue the long walk. And fairly abruptly, the paved path suddenly ends. So that white building there basically marks the end of the paved walkway that I was on, and then all of a sudden there's just this sandy sort of pathway. I assume this will take me to Binz. that's private property, but this is a hiking trail that people can still use. Um, Walking on this sand is not great. I don't have sandals. I have proper shoes. So I'm going to get sand in my shoes, but oh well. I think I might actually be getting to the end of my trip because Binz was basically the last place that I meant to see on this trip. So it's a little early to start wrapping up. I don't know. I think I'm definitely well past halfway done with my trip to Rügen today. So I'll reminisce a bit on my experience thus far. It's definitely a lot more rugged than I expected. For some reason, I was expecting it to be fairly touristy. I guess it's touristy in the German way. You know, usually when you think of touristy, you think of shopping, like a lot of fashion, clothing stores and bright lights and things like that. But that's cosmopolitan touristy. But German touristy basically means going on a long bicycle trip or hiking through the forest or being naked on the beach or something like that. I mean, that's the German idea of a tourist resort. So in that sense, it's very German touristy. Definitely, if you're going to come out here, definitely come prepared. I mean, bring a map, definitely, or a GPS or something like that. I mean, have some idea of where you're going to go, because there's a lot here. I mean, there are a lot of walkways here and things like that, but there's not necessarily a lot to see other than forest unless you want to see something specific. I mean, that complex that I was at, that Proha-Zentrum with the youth hostel and so on, I mean, I guess that counts as touristy in the sense that a lot of tourists were there, but there's not necessarily a lot to see there except a beach. I mean, okay, so on my left is the beach. I mean, you can't see it because it's behind a strip of forest, but not too far beyond the forest is a beach, I think, still. And then obviously on this side there is more forest. So if you really like forest and beach, then it's definitely a good place. If you're traveling here from Zastun or whatever it's called, I recommend a bicycle. If you're going to walk, make sure that you are prepared for a walk of a couple of hours. Bring something to drink and bring some money in case you want to stop and buy something to eat or drink. Like bring some cash. Germans still like cash, as opposed to Scandinavian countries that mostly pay by card now. Germans will still enthusiastically buy and sell with cash. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, it's like I said, there's a spider there. Wait, where is he? I can see him in real life, but I'm having trouble getting him on my viewfinder. Oh wait, that's him, isn't it? Or is it? Wait, no, that's not. I don't know. Oh, I think that might be it. Yeah, my camera's just not focusing on it very well. Yeah. The spider. Yeah, this is not. For some reason, I had the impression that Rügen was very touristy, or at least that this part of it was very touristy. But it really isn't, at least not in the way that I'm used to. I mean, there are not a lot of signs indicating where to go. There's certainly not a lot of tourist attractions in the usual sense. And not many people from outside of Germany. I mean, I saw a lot of cars parked around from various parts of Germany. Like a lot of people are here from Bavaria or, from other parts of Germany. But very few cars from other countries. I mean, I saw a car from Czechia, the Czech Republic. Saw a couple cars from the Netherlands. People probably sometimes come here from Denmark and Sweden. We're not far from the border with Poland, so actually wouldn't surprise me if people sometimes come here from Poland. But I mean, it's mostly a place like for Germans and not for other nationalities, it seems like. Or at least that seems to be the demographic that actually comes here. So, you know, it's a place for Germans to have their version of holiday fun. And if that matches up with your idea of holiday fun, then great, this might be a cool place. Otherwise, if going to a nude beach and staying at a youth hostel next to some crumbling ex-authoritarian buildings doesn't really appeal to you, then I don't know. I don't know that I would recommend this. I mean, I guess the people who told me about Rügen were right. It's like, it's okay. I mean, it's not bad. There's some nice stuff to see here, but it's not really special. I wouldn't necessarily recommend coming out here, considering how far it is. I mean, to get here, first of all, you have to drive a long way, either with a train or with a car. And then once you're here, it's like, yeah, okay, we're here, but now what? It's kind of a good place to get away from it all. Good place if you're into that, but otherwise, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know that I would really recommend Rügen, but let's see what else we find. My trip is not quite over yet. I still want to get to Binz, and I don't know quite how far away it is. Wow, there's a lot of, holy cow, there's a lot of, these plants are letting off those little white tuftlets, and I don't know if you can see, but there's like an insane amount of those little white tuftlets blowing off them and coming here into the air. Let's see. So I'm coming up on an area where there's the sea. So let's see the sea. Let's try to. There's a wall here. Oh boy. Okay, there's a long beach there, so you can see that beach there goes on for a long distance. Don't know if that's a nude beach. Probably some people will go nude there, and I don't think anybody's gonna stop them. I don't think anybody's gonna tell them, hey, you can't do that here. But yeah, a lot of beaches here, a lot of sand, a lot of ocean. So definitely an appealing place for people who enjoy that sort of thing. Sorry, I'm having trouble walking on this sand because it's quite loose here and my feet keep sinking into it. Oh boy. Okay, so actually, yeah, it's actually a pretty good view here. So, oh, nice. Okay, so this area here is, I think, closed to the public. That down there, that flat area, doesn't look like there's a way to get there. I mean, I guess the way to get there is on those steps, but those steps appear to be fenced off, so you can't walk down there. But this is obviously the sea. This is the East Sea, or Ostsee, as it's called in German. So way over there, there's that yellow crane which I saw at the ferry harbor. So I guess to the right of that, then that settlement there must be Sus something. I keep forgetting the name. What was it called? Hold on, let me check. Zusnitz. There we go. Right. So that's Zusnitz Harbor, and that must be the city of Zusnitz around on the other side of this bay. Cool. And then there are a lot of other other people photographing and filming here, so I'm trying not to get them into the shot, even though I guess they probably wouldn't mind. I mean, it's not necessarily that their identities are top secret, but I mean, you know, personal privacy, and especially now in this era of GDPR in the European Union, data protection regulations that protect people's personal information, not only on the internet, but also in basically any other context where you store people's personal information, including their physical likeness and where they were, etc., etc. So here we go. So here's a nice view down the beach. I guess those are probably lifeguard huts there. So a couple of lifeguard huts there watching the beach. I don't know if people are keeping their 2-meter distance here. This looks like the kind of place where the coronavirus gets spread. But yeah, not too far down this beach must be Binz. So when I hit Binz, I think I'm just gonna. Oh, you know what? You know what else I want to do? There's, I think, like a hunter's lodge or something at Binz that I want to see. That might be it. Is that? Does that look like a hunter's lodge? I do not know. That might be it. I think it's approximately that far away, so that seems like a good candidate for being it. In which case, I still have a few kilometers to go, but I'm definitely getting close to the end of my trip for today. So let's go and see what we can find if we stroll along here. Man, it just keeps going. This place is just a long mixture of private residences and falling apart buildings and weird sort of institutions like this culture art facility, and then here there's an NVA Museum of Prague, whatever that is, and over there's some kind of statue of a soldier with an assault rifle. And then here there's just some construction site of people building something, I guess renovating these buildings. And then farther along is just more beach properties, just a huge long line of residences. I'm guessing these are probably not people's permanent residences. These are probably like kind of summer homes. So wealthy people in other parts of Germany will have a summer apartment here, and when they go on vacation, they'll come here and live in their apartment here and just go to the beach. And when they're done at the beach, they'll come here to one of these buildings here and stay in their summer apartment until their vacation is over. Boy. So, this is a fairly sizable construction site, actually, looking at all the construction materials there. So I guess they're renovating these buildings so people can buy more summer residences. And there are sporadic restaurants and tourist shops now to be seen, places selling postcards and you know, snacks and meals and things like that. So it's kind of it's an odd mix of tourist place with residential neighborhood with abandoned ex-communist facility with some kind of sort of hippie-esque back to the roots community. It's kind of a mixture of all of those things all in one, which is kind of a mixture that usually does not go well together. Usually you'd think it's actually not something that those are not elements that would mix, but I guess they do. Here's a documentation center for Prague, so I guess this is where they document the history of this facility. Usually anything which Usually anything in Germany which has a Nazi past will have a documentation center associated with it to document the atrocities that were connected with whatever the Nazis were doing here. So I guess this is where the Nazis committed their atrocities with the sand on the beach. Looks like it's getting cloudy now. Looks like it might actually start to rain. It was very sunny earlier, but now that might change. Let's see. I don't know what these places here are. Like we're seeing names like Verando and Flora and Natura. Are those the names of the buildings? Or are those company names? I don't know. Yeah, these look pretty clearly like people's residences. But then this thing with the umbrellas and the ice cream cone there, this is a little restaurant, ice cream stand. So, kind of a nice place. Definitely not my usual idea of a touristy place, but it is kind of touristy in its own way. This is probably a good place to rent a bike. So this is a bicycle rental place called Polrad. I guess it's a joke on Polha. The city is called Polha, and then you add a D on the end, and Rad means like a wheel in German. There's a clothing store. Here's a convenience store, which sells, snacks and drinks and stuff. There's another clothing store, and there's an ATM, cash machine, Geldautomat if you need cash money. And yes, it's raining now. It's not raining heavily, but it's definitely raining. Man, I seriously cannot say just how long I've been walking anymore. I've just been going and going. It's just been one after another of these identical looking buildings. And again, most of them are private residences. Some of them appear to be other things. Some of them look like they might be office buildings or being used as office buildings, but just one identical looking building after another. It's just, wow, it's crazy. And then they suddenly end and you get this nice little sort of park here with well-groomed walkways. I think that if I had been walking a little bit more in that direction, I would have walked along a main street. And on that main street, I would have seen some train stations, because there is a train station that serves Polha. In fact, I think there are two of them. I think there's like a Polha station and a Polha East or something like that. And I've not seen either of them, and I think the reason for that is I'm actually off the main street. This is technically not the main street. This is like the beach street. This is the street for people who want to go to the beach. But if I had walked maybe a couple hundred meters west of here, there would have been a parallel street from which I would have seen train stations and things like that. Wow. Check out the motorcycles these people have. They've got some kind of converted motorcycles with like a rear carriage on it. There are two of them actually. That guy's waving at the camera, I think, but I'm not filming the guy, I'm filming the motorcycles. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen motorcycles like that before. It's something kind of special. So yeah, oh, and these are like little lockers. Yeah, little lockers where you can store just stuff, whatever stuff you want to store here in a rented locker near the beach. Okay, so this is, I guess, the place for the campers. This is now where people with like big camper vans park them. Boy, so much to see. It's been such a huge mixed bag. It's like it's just like such a blend of people who go camping and people who go beach bumming and people who are just more regular tourists and people who are very wealthy and own expensive property here, and then people who are obviously not so wealthy and just come here to be naked hippies on the beach. And the weather is a mix too. I mean, it was so sunny this morning, and now suddenly it's I think it stopped raining. I still have my umbrella up, but I think it stopped raining. I'm really glad that I brought my umbrella now, because for a while it got really stormy. It's just for a few minutes, but it got really windy and really rainy. So I felt stupid for bringing my umbrella at first, but now it's a good thing that I brought it after all. I still don't really know where I'm going, but I mean, I've got to be getting to the end soon. People looking at me like, who's this? People are all looking at me like, who's this freak with a camera and umbrella speaking English to himself? Bundeswehr Sozialwerk, hier scheint die Sonne. So the Bundeswehr is the federal military. This is the military of Germany, but it's, instead of killing people, this is social work. It's military social work. Here shines the sun. The irony of the fact that the sun is not currently shining is not lost on me. Am I not allowed to go through here? Hold on. Okay, so that's a camping spot for people who have camping plans. It's not open to the public, so I couldn't just walk through there. The guy told me I couldn't walk through there. But if I go down this path here, allegedly this will, he told me that if I just come down this way and turn right at some point, that should lead me to Binz. So, let's see. Still not much to see, and I still don't know how much farther I have to go. I feel like it can't be too much farther. Alright, I'll go ahead and stop filming until I see something interesting. So here you have a nice view of this. I mean, all of this is the beach again. But that there is like, well, you don't really see it very well from here, but that's basically the rain system that moved through. I guess it's raining on the sea now. So yeah, so I didn't have too far to go before I got to a path. I mean, this is a paved path, obviously. Oh, this is an FKK beach, and actually I do see naked people, so I should probably not film that. I'm surprised nobody's gotten after me for filming so far, but I guess this is kind of a touristy area. I guess it's not unusual. I mean, I've seen a lot of other people snapping photographs and making videos and things, so I guess it's not too unusual. Okay, so hopefully this will take me the rest of the way to Binz. Check it out, one of these full-sized chessboards. I always liked these things. It looks like somebody was playing and then stopped, maybe because of the rain, or maybe somebody won. So, I was walking along the beach for quite a long time, and finally I took a road that led inland, because it really was just endless beach. It was just beach and more beach and nothing really interesting to see. And then I saw a sign advertising a hotel, so I thought, okay, let's head inland. Passed by the hotel, which is, just a regular hotel. But now I think I'm getting closer to the, and right now I'm just in a very well-to-do residential neighborhood. But I think, actually that's practically a gated community. It's just without the gate. It's not actually gated, but other than that, it's basically like one of those housing communities. So yeah, okay. So I'm not sure exactly where I'm going, but I should be getting close to the main road. So I'm moving away from the beach now, and I should be getting close to a main thoroughfare. And that should take me to the train station of Binz, because by now I should be, I believe, fairly close to the Binz train station, as far as I know. Just need to hopefully go a little farther. Oh boy. I did say that there was some hunter's lodge back there that I want to see, but I think that's not going to happen now. I think that will just have to remain undiscovered on this trip. I think it was too far anyway. I think it was farther than I really wanted to go. So let's just see if I can get to the train station. Then I think that'll be it. Okay, so after finding out that I was going the wrong way and having to turn around and getting lost a couple of times, I have finally found my way to a viable train station. This building here, with the Deutsche Bahn symbol on the front, is the Ostseebad Binz station. So I'm going to go ahead and just take a train home from here, and that'll be it. Sorry, folks. I wanted to see a little bit more, but I don't know if there's that much more to see. I've walked across pretty much the entire touristy part of Rügen, and you know, it is what it is. I mean, like I said, it's a huge mix of different things. It's not very touristy, but it's touristy in that way that appeals to Germans, I guess. It's touristy in a German way. It's mostly for German tourists and not for foreign tourists, like I said. If what you've seen appeals to you at all, you can definitely check it out. But yeah, for my part, I don't think I have much more to show here. It's been a nice trip. I actually liked it, but I think I'm done. I'm definitely done. I'm just gonna go home and be done. I don't want to walk around anymore in this rain either. Hey, Flixbus runs here. That's nice. Yeah. So that's it for me. Greetings from Rügen. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope it was at least somewhat entertaining, and I will see you folks. Take it easy. Bye, everyone.